welcome to Zelph on the Shelf. While Samantha and I are temporarily unemployed, we thought we'd make a few more videos, just kind of casual things to keep you people entertained.
So here's the deal with this video. Every now and then we see articles posted on social media or wherever that are LDS articles, like from LDS blogs or whatever, that we really want to read, but we also don't want to give them a view unless we're gonna like write a response to it, or somehow be beneficial in combating the toxicity in those articles. So we saw this article, I'm tired of the church constantly being attacked, on LDS Smile, and I thought, bingo, let's respond to it in real time. So we're gonna read it, we haven't read it yet, we're gonna read it now, just kind of paragraph by paragraph, and maybe debunk it as we go, maybe we'll like it, anything can happen.
Yeah, maybe it'll reconvert us.
Maybe it'll reconvert us.
Also, here's what I do. I click on an article, I skim it really quick to see if it's gonna be worth it, and I try to do it in under a minute so it counts as for the bounce rate rather than an actual page view.
Hot tip from SEO expert Hannah, you can hire us to do your SEO. Okay, I'm gonna click it. I hate doing this. I know there's some way you could not give the website a view, but this is too much work. Okay.
I wonder who's writing. Let's scroll down real quick to see who's writing it.
John Huntinghouse, who I used to know, and he does seem nice, but...
You know him?
I mean, I don't know him, I just know him through blogging a little bit. Oh. I have nothing against... I don't know anything about him. But we're just gonna analyse this as an article, not as the person writing it. But just some first impressions. I mean, it's called I'm Tired of the Church Constantly Being Attacked, so we can kind of already get what's happening. And then the featured image was people doing the helping hand stuff in the Mormon yellow t-shirts. And I said to Tanner, isn't it annoying? Because I bet this article is going to probably be about all the service church members do. But like that helping hands picture is just completely disingenuous. Because number one, how many people on their mission, do legitimate service? I mean, I guess
It's not like a humanitarian
mission.
mission.
It's not. And also, if you're gone for 2 years, normal people probably do some volunteer work for a few days in 2 years, unless you are really lazy.
Furthermore, the church, all its humanitarian stuff is operated like a business.
Yeah.
So being this is what my church is doing, it's are you doing that? Are you converting your church into a homeless shelter on Sundays and feeding people?
Right. It's there's a tsunami in the area and the missionaries are cleaning up. Wow! Okay, let's get into this. Do you want to read the first? Oh no, I'm already cringing. I don't like it.
Okay. I'm just so tired. Really, really tired. I'm tired of seeing the church constantly under attack, both from people outside of the church and especially those within it. I'm tired of being labeled unfairly by those who know nothing of my faith. I'm tired of being told how I should feel being a Mormon. First of all, I just want to say, this is classic,
Victim mentality?
But it's reversing the tables as a gaslighting or kind of a sociopathic thing that people, abusers do in abusive relationships. They play the victim when they're the ones being the thing. I hate when people or even the church is we just want, our religious freedom is being attacked, and we're always being attacked. Remember, when it's because you're the ones out there who are trying to influence laws that are directly affecting people who are not members of your church.
Okay, and me personally, if I was just attacking the church in the most logical way I know how, I'd be out there talking about their temples and where the ceremony came from and all that stuff. But what's the stuff that gets talked about attacking Mormons? It's stuff to do with LGBT issues, because kids are killing themselves over it. And then it's stuff about truth claims, because the truth claims are false. It's not like anyone's ex-Mormons don't usually just senselessly be ha ha ha, you guys are going to the temple, you wankers. Yeah. That just doesn't happen. People are bringing up legitimate points. This discussion is not just centered in mocking. People aren't that funny.
No, we are. We're in the great and spacious building pointing fingers. Ha ha ha, going to church on Sunday. I mean, there is a little bit of that. Because
you see people walking around. Maybe.
At brunch, sure. But most of our criticisms, I feel are at least legitimate, even if there's more than one perspective on it. And it's interesting because there have been several more progressive leaders like QB Brown, J. Reuben Clark, who've said things just if we don't have the truth, then it deserves to be attacked.
That's the comment my ex-Mormon friend had on Facebook with the article that he posted. Should we move on?
Yeah.
Next paragraph. I get it. The church is far from perfect, and the people within the church, both currently and in the past, have made mistakes that have caused harm to people. Wow, that's a little bit of a progressive from the church.
Good acknowledgement.
Okay. Church history is messy. He gets it. There are times when there are no good answers.
There are good answers, you just don't want to hear them.
But such is the history of any organisation and individual. I feel like there's answers for almost all of my bad behaviour.
Right.
Like, mostly my childhood obesity or my parents' divorce. Like, any good therapist could tell you that.
I think, well, hang on, okay. I love that. But such is the history of any organization and individual.
We're just like you guys, everyone else is doing it.
Of course there were problems in communist Russia, there are problems everywhere. It's like, yeah, but you're the, like, proclaiming to be the one true church.
Like, I feel the whole point of having a prophet was so that, like, maybe
like
teens wouldn't kill themselves. Like, like, as a baseline of, like, benefits of having a prophet, less suicides.
Oh, I love this next one.
Okay. We all have dark times. Okay, and I also I hate this idea that, like, you kind of make the church like a person, like, we all make mistakes. It's like, no, but this isn't about making mistakes. This is an organisation that is either telling the truth or is not. Ugh. We all have dark times where we have made mistakes that we wish we could take back, but they're already doctrine, so we can't.
They're in our scripture.
There were and still are times that leaders within our church have made some poor judgment calls and that have wounded those who needed their help the most. Wounded, okay. These are the stories that constantly get blasted in the media today. I feel like he is talking about LGBT suicides, and that's like pissing me off.
But just because the church as an organization and members of the church individually can and should be better, the fact shouldn't negate all the other great things we are doing.
Wait, did you just say the organisation should be better?
Yeah.
Ooh.
He's gonna get excommunicated.
You're out.
You don't see headlines of all the countless hours that a young woman presidency stays up at night trying to help a girl with a problem that she is currently facing, which is probably like her modesty
to her personal progress.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Like things that you imposed on them that they don't need to be worrying about, but they are.
This is why we can't read things. Glad you're getting a real reaction.
Stays up at night trying to help a girl with a problem that she is currently facing, even though she is not a member of the church, simply because they want to help.
They don't want to convert her, they just want to help! Come on, I've been in a young women's presidency, that is not... Have I? I don't know.
I think you're lying. I don't think you have.
No, I think I was like... No, I think I was just Laurel class
You're lying about your... Oh, that's good. Laurel class president.
But there was like one Laurel, so...
I mean, either way, you didn't have the priesthood.
If she was never coming to church and it was just someone, like, in her daughter's school, they'd be doing it on their own time. Like, why would it even be related to the fact that she's a young woman president? It would just be her as a human being helping a girl in her daughter's class, you know?
Yeah. You don't see the sacrifice made by Relief Society presidents, bishoprics, and all the other local leaders who sacrifice weeks and months simply trying to help the people in the neighborhood. Also, bishoprics... My dad was a bishop in the bishopric all throughout my growing up, and is currently in the stake presidency.
And is great.
And he's a great human being. But I have to acknowledge, and like, while I was in college, I was a executive secretary in the stake and in the bishopric for most of my time in college. And I can say that, like, even though bishops really do care, like, I think most of the bishops are really, really good people. And stake presidencies as well. But the thing is, so much of their time is just like being in meetings that don't.
It's not meaningful service. It's like spending 3 hours in the temple.
Right.
Okay, the next bit is it's going to be great. This is not including all of the humanitarian and welfare work the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is doing throughout the world, nor all of the work that the church does for their members. Hey Tan, can we get a quick fact about humanitarian work in the church?
First person in the comments, read books, said, and I think this is pretty interesting and quite telling. From this fact sheet posted by the LDS Church, the Church has donated 202 major disaster assistance efforts from 1985 to 2011 by donating $1.4 billion. That seems like a lot until you divide $1.4 billion by 26 years. That means $54 million per year. Now divide that by an average of 10 million LDS people per year. 10 million, which is less than what their books want to say. And that makes $5.40 per year per member donated to charity.
And then it also bothers me how the church gets all the credit as well. And it's like, they're only able to give that money because people have given their tithing, you know? Like, you're not paying tithing as a general authority necessarily. I mean, you're getting free houses and a stipend that covers your entire existence.
Yeah.
So it's like, why is the church getting credit? Like, they hire people to work in their philanthropy department and all that. Like, those people are paid.
I mean, how much tithing do you think an average member pays?
People are definitely giving thousands per year to the church. That's got to be a common figure.
But only $5.40 a year of that goes to humanitarian.
Like, even if you're on a 45 grand a year job, like a pretty basic job that most fathers might be on a bit more, at least in like the Utah Mormon sphere, then you're giving like $4,500 to the church every year, and $5 is going to humanitarian effort. It's like, cool, but I could have put that in a little donation box at the grocery store.
It'd be interesting to figure out how much like an average temple costs, and then break that down. How much money is going to a fine sanctuary? The church spent more on the City Creek Mall than it spent in the last 20 years of its humanitarian work.
20 years prior to building the mall, I think the statistic was. And the mall cost $1.4 billion. Was it 1.6 billion? It was 1.4.
It was over $1 billion.
All the humanitarian and welfare work the church does, like we can build a mall in a couple of years, but we can't top it in 20. Okay. Is it me reading? Sometimes we reference all of the church's humanitarian work and lump it all into a throwaway sentence because that's how much it is. But it's a tremendous undertaking that is directly affecting many of the poor and needy around the world. Counterpoint, they are also paying 10% in a lot of cases.
A lot of them can't afford to do so.
Don't feel like they... Tell the story about the diabetes insulin.
Oh yeah. No, that was it was someone in the Philippines couldn't afford to get his medication, the insulin or whatever, while he had diabetes. He ended up dying. But he was paid full tithe payer.
How did you hear that story?
From a friend in the Philippines.
Wow. Because he paid his tithing?
Yeah.
And he literally just died because he couldn't afford his medication?
Yeah, I mean, I served with people who would they'd earn 3 cents a day, and they'd put one into their savings and spending, one into feeding the missionaries, and the other into tithing and offerings.
We've been church members. I don't feel like it was a tremendous undertaking for us to do service. I mean, we were always doing service, but a lot of times church service is quite meaningless.
No, it's just kind of a circle
all intra-church.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can say that the church itself is doing a tremendous undertaking, but is that really true?
Right.
The numbers don't really back it up.
Humanitarian work is not a fundamental part of a normal church member's life.
Not even every missionary does a Helping Hands project or any kind of big humanitarian work beyond cleaning someone's yard or helping someone move.
We weren't allowed to do service projects.
And they talk about that in the, is it The Life and Times of a Mormon Missionary or My Book of Mormon? I think it's the one written by Scott Miller, but he talks about how on his mission there was these people that on the side of the road that needed help, and he was on a bus, but he just couldn't get off because it was so against all the rules, and he had no way to contact anybody because you're not allowed a phone, and it was ages ago in Sweden, and so he just didn't help these people. And then this other Christian missionary got off the bus to help. Anyway,
yeah, we were all
we've got some statistics coming up now. Some numbers at a glance. Benson Food helping over 96,000 individuals in 2015 alone with food production, storage, and nutrition training. I bet you didn't teach a plant-based diet as part of your nutrition training, but that is good. We're not just here to nitpick everything. I mean, if that happened, great.
Over 7 million man-hours donated to the welfare services of the church.
You could double that if people stopped going to church. Over 7,000 full-time and part-time volunteers in the welfare services of the church read unpaid employees. Providing services such as managing employment centre, teaching English as a second language with absolutely no ulterior motive, teaching marriage and parenting skills, improving agricultural or medical practices but denying people medical marijuana, distributing clothing that's modest.
Do you think they have modesty checks for distributing clothing?
I don't know.
It'd be interesting.
Probably not. The
church responded to over 177 natural and man-made disasters in 56 different countries in 2016. I think that's cool.
Which is good.
That's good.
And also what I would hope for a worldwide religion.
Yeah.
But, good job. Over 7 million people have been helped with their clean water and sanitation initiative.
Over 57,000 individuals received wheelchairs in 2014.
Well, the church could do a better job about providing disability access, but again, not here to be nitpicky, let's praise it for what it is. Over 500,000 individuals were given vision treatment in 2015. Whoa, I never got offered vision treatment.
I didn't either, I had to pay
What's
for my
vision
glasses.
treatment? Is that second anointing?
Yeah, vision treatment is a patriarchal blessing. They give you treatment to vision.
Vision treatment, patriarchal blessings. Over 44,000 individuals received maternal and newborn care in 2015.
Over 1,800 community projects in 107 different countries supporting local organizations solve the problems and needs in their local communities. Solve them?
This one is one we should talk about. Over 56,000 students have been helped with the Perpetual Education Fund with a 90% pay forward rate. Okay, did you read some of the stuff on Reddit about the Perpetual Education Fund and how it's actually really dodgy? Okay, so I think, and comment below if anything I say is inaccurate, obviously, but I think that what happens is you have to pay back the Perpetual Education Fund at a decently high interest, I think. But I think the thing that was crazy is that if you leave the church, so there's some thing to do with the fact that if you leave the church, they like need it all back immediately, or it's like something weird like that. Oh, I wish we'd researched it for this video. Comment below if you know what the deal is with the Perpetual Education Fund, because the last thing I read about it made me not feel good about it. I don't remember what the specific was, but I remember it was something that like basically keeps people trapped. Like it's not really a good situation for them. And then the other thing is adoption services for families, which obviously we know the church has been very involved in, and Mormons Helping Hands who have donated millions of hours of service with hundreds of thousands of volunteers.
Okay. Those are great things.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really cool.
Do more of that.
Yeah, do more. And I think maybe eventually the church will kind of realize that it doesn't have a leg to stand on as far as truth claim goes.
Right.
And they'll try to go this angle more. I would love to.
That would be amazing.
No, I really...
If they were kind of backed into a corner and they had to just become a humanitarian focused organization, I mean that would be perfect.
Yeah, really.
Perfect outcome of this shitstorm.
I don't think the church is going away anytime soon.
No.
I don't think ever go away. It's always going to be around. And so, like, for me, the best case situation is not to, like, see it end, because that's just not going to happen, but to see it improve.
Yeah.
And I think a push toward more humanitarian missions.
Yeah.
And think, wow, wouldn't that be, like, that's what they're always trying to teach. It says that in Preach My Gospel, that, like, be like Ammon, serve the people, and then through that you'll be able to teach. And it's like, well, then why don't you just, like, do that as an official policy? Like, why don't you just do a humanitarian mission?
I know.
And then, like...
It would actually be more effective. Like, at this point, missionaries aren't really baptizing people. They fish. Well, but not like like typically there's a stereotype of the type of person they're baptizing, and it's the weak, the vulnerable. Like it's the people that are lonely or late teens like I was.
So were you weak, vulnerable?
No, it's a proven statistic that people are more likely to join high demand religious organizations or cults in their late teens.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So let's move on to the rest of the article.
Okay, the church as an organization has helped people from around the world in a wide range of activities, from providing clean water and sanitation to over 26 countries to helping refugees and individuals in the Ukraine from civil unrest. Where are they getting these statistics, I wonder?
It's all quite vague though. It's help people around the world in a wide range of... I mean, yeah, good. That's great. But you already listed the statistics. This seems the same.
You don't just get to say, yes, I know the church is doing some good in the world, but... Right. That's exactly what we're saying.
So, yeah, it's like the suicides don't matter because we help people have sanitation. Well, Walmart gives more money to welfare, even though Walmart is like the trash of the earth in terms of caring about people. And they're helping people out more than the church.
And it's kind of this idea that, like, if anyone does any good ever, you're not allowed to evaluate anything that they say.
And also, I'm not trying to be extreme here, but like I've read a lot of books about the Middle East and kind of people's personal stories there. Like I Am Malala, just finished that. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Please buy it through Amazon affiliate link. I'll put it below. But like, for example, like terrorist groups or high demand religious groups, like those kinds of groups, often do things to help people. Like there's a reason people like started following like terrorist groups in the Middle East. It's because they offered them something that, they're in economic disaster and they could provide them with maybe food or whatever it is. So like Tana said, just because an organization does do good doesn't counteract the bad or make it okay.
It doesn't make it true.
And it also doesn't give you a right to, doesn't make it immune from criticism either, because no one's criticizing this stuff. No one's saying, the church does nothing to help people. We're just saying, if you look at the data, they're just not helping people as much as you would expect them to, given the fact that they are God's true church.
And again, most of the criticisms levied at the church have to do with truth claims and effects of their negative policies.
Exactly.
Which is
still legitimate.
Right.
Like if the person in charge of the Red Cross was earning $10 million a year, people might speak up about that. It wouldn't mean you were like, the Red Cross is trash, let's stop helping people. But it's just like you're allowed to speak up about how an organization is run.
Yeah.
Not if it's God's
What did they say? Even Mussolini made the trains run on time. It's like, yeah, but not really justification. You don't get to throw away all of the good the church does simply to tear it down as though any of the things they did don't matter. That's not a good sentence. Yeah. Plus, hey, we're not great writers either.
Yeah,
we are.
Hire us. You don't get to negate all of the millions of hours spent on another bullet-pointed list. Helping our neighbours move. No one helps their neighbours move unless they're part of the church.
Helping the church members move.
Yeah. Visiting those who are sick. Nobody visits their sick family or friends if they're not in the church. Come on!
This is just like a decent human being
I know! Don't we do this?
Yeah.
Providing meals and supplies supplies during family emergencies? Have I not provided you with meals during your emergencies?
You have.
Taking personal time off from work to help families. Going to camps and youth conferences to help teach life skills and lessons to youth. Tanner was just saying he wants to become a camp counselor to do that.
Yeah. Visiting retirement homes and providing spiritual services. Blood drives and donations, counseling with
Also
families.
unheard of outside the church.
Right. Helping families to find a place to live. Babysitting while the family is dealing with hospital issues. Trying to make new friends and reaching out. Simply saying hi and making people feel welcomed. Because outside the church, nobody says hi. Nobody is welcome anywhere.
The church is obviously the most welcoming place for the highest number of people.
Yeah. Because that's what they're doing. They ought to maybe just say hi to more LGBT people.
The last bullet point is just, and the list could go on and on and on, just like Brigham could all night long.
Shoveling the driveways during the winter. The driveways, like of everyone in
Shit.
town, like every single driveway. No, it's of the members. But I will say, I shoveled my neighbor's driveway every time it snowed this winter.
As an apostate. He
As
was
an
probably
apostate.
hung over while he was doing it. Okay, we have massive improvements that we need to continue to work on, both on the organisational level, we are available for editing, did we say that? And on the individual level. We need to listen to our leaders and Sorry, I just had to have a moment. Just throw up in my mouth. And work on our sensitivities and being more understanding to vulnerable populations within the church, like the LGBTQIA! He went the whole way with that.
The whole way.
Community. And the youth who are dealing with depression or mental illness.
Right on. Of course we need to work on being less judgmental and more caring with one another and being more Christ-like in all that we do and say. But, as Elder Holland states...
Fuck you, Tom Phillips. That's just another thing he said, that's not what's in the article.
Be kind regarding human frailty, your own as well as that of those who serve with you in a church led by volunteer mortal men and women. Except in the case of his only perfect begotten Son, imperfect people are all God has ever had to work with. That must be terribly frustrating to him, but he deals with it.
I can only find this guy that wants to marry teenagers. Fuck it, I'm running out of time. I'm just gonna go for it. Joseph, you in?
Joseph, I got a book. I need you to try. Oh, you don't have. No? Okay, just wing it. Make it up.
You can even try and sell it in Canada first. Whatever makes you feel good about it.
Yeah. That must be terribly frustrating to him, but he deals with it. So should we. And when you see imperfection, remember that the limitation is not in the divinity of the work.
Couldn't be.
As one gifted writer has suggested, when the infinite fullness is poured forth, it is not the oil's fault if there is some loss, because finite vessels can't quite contain it all. Those finite vessels include you and me, so be patient and kind and forgiving.
If you've got a problem, you're the problem!
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, I kind of get it, like, give latitude to people.
Yeah.
I have nothing wrong with that.
We are all imperfect and we do need to judge less, and that's... The thing is, the church does teach not to judge, but it's just so judgmental.
The problem really is what it is the church doesn't practice institutionally what it preaches personally.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever the church is the best Christ can do. This is his best work. This is the best organisation he's able to create. This should be the best organisation on earth, and it's not.
Just because we have areas of improvement, and just because we are human and are prone to making mistakes, let us not forget all of the good we do as members of the church. While we are not perfect disciples, we do try to help those around us, and we do try to make the world a better place. And I'm tired of that message getting lost in the media these days.
And then right below, there's a little ad for their spiritual necklace they're selling, but we actually get it because we try and vlog stuff all the time for our own personal gain, but...
It's fine. But we're, known priest
But we're apostates, so what do you expect?
We sell our signs and tokens for money.
So, I think we're done here. The moral of the story is, help people.
I want to say that I think that most members of the church that I've interacted with, because I can't speak for a church of some 5 million active to 14 million on the books membership, but I think most of the members of the church that I've interacted with are really good people, like above average in their niceness, at least.
See, I don't see it that way, and I'm sure it's had different upbringings, but I think that many, I don't know if I can really give like a percentage or make any too specific statements. I think most members of the church, like, they are doing what they believe is right and what is good, and so that's commendable, But it's just such a twisted idea about what's right that it almost renders their desire to help a bit useless, because everything is through that lens of, I mean, obviously wanting people to join the church, and then a lot of their service is so church focused. Like, they're just wasting their time. They could be doing a lot more of the kind of good stuff listed in these bullet points, independent of an organisation that really takes up all your time. I believe they want to do good because they've been taught the importance of wanting to do good, but their idea of what is good is causing teens to kill themselves. And that's a generalisation, and obviously it's not that simple, but I don't know, that's just how I feel.
Yeah, I think niceness, at least. They're usually nice people.
I find the niceness frightening coming from England. It just instantly is like, this person is being fake to me. You know, like, you just can't have an authentic relationship with people that come across to you like that.
How are we friends?